Supreme.
Melchizedek, Supreme, Allah. No, Shabazz.
Oh, right.
Allah.
The Universal Supreme Shabazz Allah.com.
Yes. Supreme. Here we go. No, Shabazz. Okay, we are live and direct on YouTube.
Universal Supreme Shabazz Allah.com.
Yes, our brother. He's going to return. Hold on one second. Okay, we are live and Let me turn this on YouTube. Hold on. Let me turn this volume down here so we can go here. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, peace from the Tonya 23 experience this Friday night. We hope that everybody is well, especially on the East Coast. We hope that everyone is breathing well. And so tonight we have some technical difficulties. We were supposed to have our brother Melchizedek, Supreme Shabazz Allah, but we are going to return on Sunday, which is okay because Sunday you're going to get the full disclosure of everything we were going to talk about tonight, which is unity and community, and how do we bring those things to fruition on a large level. And tonight I have my co-host, Queen Nzinga Alston. Yay! I don't have my sound effects, but welcome. And thank you for your time on a Friday evening at 9:30. Most people are trying to be out and about or settling, doing things in their home. And so we hope that you catch this live or the replay. So tonight, let me give Queen Nzinga a moment to introduce herself again.
Asante Sana, thank you. That's Kiswahili for thank you. And, we had some technical difficulties. So I'm Queen Nzinga, and I would like to say to everyone, Habaragani, Wahuta say, Assalamu alaikum, Alafia, and peace and blessings.
Yes.
Welcome to the Tonya 23 experience.
Yay!
Yay!
We have original sound effects over here. We use original instruments in our music. No pun intended or pun intended. Our music needs to go back to instruments instead of auto tunes. But yes, and we also want to give a shout out to our Ghana family. Thanks for tuning in to our broadcast before. Tonya 23 experience has reached all the way into the motherland. Yay! So some of our subscribers, we are international. And we just want to say, what is it? Abaragani to everyone. And Shem Hotep to everyone.
Heptepu.
Yes. And so, yeah, tonight we're laid back and we're just going to flow. I mean, there's so much going on. We can just pick any topic and roll with it. But let's just start with a little humor as far as our visitors from other galaxies and whatnot. If you haven't seen the news clip going around, there was a sighting of a ship that supposedly crashed, and there were sightings of extraterrestrials in these people's backyard. So if you haven't checked it out, get on social media, check it out. It's
Was that in California or San Francisco or something?
I actually don't know the state. I don't remember the state, but there is another YouTube channel, Mr. MB33, that has the footage and everything, and that's how I caught it. So shout out to Mr. MB33 for his podcast and work, keeping us up to date. And there's a lot of channels. Kali Amin Ra, that brother is really good on his channel, keeping us up with the UV index, which has been off the chain, even through the smoke. Before the smoke, the UV index was up high. And so just like we're going through planetary changes and adjustments, so are we. And so down here, we are trying to better ourselves with self-development. And I've been getting into a lot of psychology lately of the human being. And it's quite interesting, but it helps with the times that we're living in. You have to go back to psychological teachings and,
And sociology is all interconnected.
yes, absolutely. And so, as people, we do have to figure out how to work in society to where we have an advantage, because it can be done. And there are others doing it. And so it can be done in our communities also. I heard a profound statement today by another great brother, Mr. Doggy Diamonds TV. And he stated that let me see if I can get it right, not verbatim, but when the snake, he showed a picture of a snake, and actually, no, that wasn't Doggy Diamonds. He said something else profound, but it's all the same thing. When you are in lack, you begin to feed off of your surroundings. And when we're in communities of lack and scarcity, people begin to feed off one another, not knowing that outside of that community is abundance, or outside of that square is abundance. All right. So we have to go where the abundance is and not feed off of each other. Say like this the other day, a friend of mine or a relative went to the local Walmart near their home, and they live in a city. Now, a carton of 18 pack of eggs was $6. So she said, well, that's a lot. I'm going to drive down to the next store, which is in a suburban community with middle class and up people living in that area. And the eggs in their grocery store was $2.50 for an 18 pack. So of course that was the choice. But why is that? Because they know that certain inner city people, they shop inner city. But once you go outside that city, you find out there's all these deals and whatnot, So we need to begin to think about how to uplift our communities with wealth. Really is when we're outside the community, we bring it back. We don't take from the community and, take it out. So that was very profound. But like I said, he showed a picture of a snake. The snake was hungry and he began to devour himself, and to eat himself through the tail.
Wow.
And so that is how we study human beings, by looking at nature, and literally that's what happens in our AKA hoods. It's like this concentrated area is bad and this and that goes on there, but 7 blocks down is another situation, And so it all depends. You'd have to ask the question. Most people that live in impoverished areas don't like it and don't want to be there. But the thing is, if you cleaned up your community, it would look different because you live there. Even though I understand you're a taxpayer and the city is supposed to do this and the state is supposed to do that, but you're the one that has to live there. Me personally, I would rather hustle and pay more money to live in a better place than to continue to stay in an environment that is not, for me and my family. So the goal has always been to get out. But if these communities were cleaned up, they'd be beautiful. It depends, like, where do you want to live and how do you want to live is the question. So that all goes back to psychology and mentality. So that's what we're talking about,
Oh, now, interesting you say that, because all these communities that were quote unquote undeveloped, as they were saying, now are prime real estate, such as the South Bronx, Harlem, Bed-Stuy, and many other places. Because of gentrification, people who went to the suburbs to live, mainly Europeans, are now, they realize that they have to get to work and everything. It's a lot to commute 2 and 3 hours a day to get to work. So they want to come back into these neighborhoods, because these neighborhoods, number one, are surrounded by water. It's convenient to get downtown to Manhattan in order for them to make their money. So you see them now coming back into these neighborhoods, all right? And they're getting on the community boards. I mean, they're getting into everything so that they could have ownership in these communities, things that we probably didn't, some of our people didn't understand what they had, okay, and took it for granted. But other people seeing that there's wealth within our communities, and they came back, and now they're taking over. They don't want drumming at night. They don't want any loud music. You know, certain things they don't want. The police are protecting them, okay? And they're protecting us. And we have to, excuse me, we have to demand what we want. We have to put it in writing again, have letter campaigns. We have to email. We have to show up strong at City Hall again.
Yes.
Because now they consider us as obsolete. Black people are now obsolete. They don't use us up. They don't need us anymore. You see what they're giving the immigrants. I read on in the paper and on the news. In fact, it was on all the major news that FEMA, the immigrants who are coming in and they're claiming asylum, FEMA is going to give them $104.6 million. FEMA alone. That's federal funds. Okay.
Right.
Mayor Adams promised that he's going to set aside 60,000 housing units for the immigrants, new housing. Okay. He passed the bill last year for people who were not documented, who were already living here. He passed a bill that they could vote in the local elections, like mayor, council people, assembly people, etc., because he needs their vote, and those people in those positions needs those votes. So this is very interesting, because the people who were here, Black people and other people who were already here and existing in New York City, where are they? Where's the help for them? Okay, let's just cut to the chase. They're not getting any help. We're getting pushed out. Okay, and we have to say something. We have to demand something. Like these other groups are demanding citizenship because they're claiming asylum. They don't want to go back to their country. They're saying that if they go back to their country, they'll be killed. Okay, so now they have lawyers for them. However, after the pandemic, they were saying that legal aid could not represent people in housing court. Even if you had a right, you claimed that you had a right for legal representation. And the judges was telling people, we don't have any lawyers available. When you called the Legal Aid Society, they would have hopefully someone give you legal advice, but it wasn't a lawyer. And they were saying, well, we don't have any lawyers available at this time. Then suddenly you had over 400,000 people or 40,000 people coming through buses and planes over here, immigrants from Mexico, Venezuela, and other places, Peru. And now all of a sudden they're claiming asylum. And now the legal aid services that was supposed to provide services to people living in New York City, now they're representing these immigrants who are claiming asylum. And it's a slap in the face to us because, okay, they should have rights. However, people who pay their taxes in this city, New York City, and other places, you should have rights as well. Who's representing you when you're getting evicted? Who's representing you when you don't have any fruit stands in your community and more liquor stores? Who's there to represent you? No one. But they're giving all the priority to people who claim asylum because there's money to be made in that. And now they're treating us like we're obsolete. New York City has a bad homeless problem. All you got to do is go to Times Square, Pennsylvania Station. Now they're calling it Moynihan Station. The World Trade Center, all these places in Harlem, you walk down the streets, you see people laying in the street, under the bridges. You see people setting up house under bridges. This is not right. This is not humane. Where are the lawyers to represent homeless people and to represent people from becoming homeless? COVID-19 changed a lot of things, that pandemic. People were supposed to be protected. There was a eviction moratorium. As soon as that was up, people had to go to court. All right? Landlords was foreclosing during that time, but other people, real estates, were buying up property, okay? And getting deeds on foreclosed houses. So all these people who landlord foreclosed on them, now they're left out to try to find some place to live because a new owner came and they have the deed and they don't want any tenants, okay? Under that eviction moratorium, they were protected. But as soon as the courts opened again and that moratorium was not signed by the governor herself, people were left strapping for housing. And a lot of people became homeless as a result of their landlords foreclosing on properties or whatever, okay? How about those group of people? They're not being represented, okay? Families are being divided. What is the mayor doing in New York City for those individuals? I experienced that personally myself. What did Mayor Adams do for us? What did the governor do for us? And we're here paying taxes. We were born in this city, born in this country. We have to get out, people, and demand. I write so many letters. I wrote so many emails. I was on 311 every day. And I said, I have an email that I would like to send to the mayor, to the governor as well, and to council people. They said, okay, you could do 50 characters, 50 words only. So you got to think of what you want to say. Your name, you have to say your name, of course, your address. Okay, and then maybe you got one more line because that's almost 50 words right there. You know, you have to say what the condition is, that you're in court. If it was a foreclosure, then you have to be in Supreme Court, and maybe you also was in regular housing court. But Supreme Court takes the precedence over housing court. Okay, so whatever the judge and the judges in Supreme Court, they side with the realtors because some of them are realtors as well, and they're landlords. Okay, so they're going to side with the landlords, and most likely they're just going to give you more time to leave. And that's it, because the new landlords, they want that property without tenants so they could raise that rent or turn it into an Airbnb or whatever they want to do. Okay. But they do not want tenants. So where do those group of people go at? They're displaced. And a lot of people became homeless. Who's helping them? Where is the voice for people who have been living here in New York City?
There has been a mass exodus out of New York City heading back south by our people because they don't want to fight and they're just giving up and leaving. The answer is for the people to come together and get to the mayor, because who voted him in? Because I never liked him from the beginning. He never was for the people, and that was obvious in his campaign. The mayor prior to him,
right,
even though he had a wacky personal life, I feel he did a better job. Was it Cuomo?
No, prior to him was the mayor,
DeFazio or something like that. But I thought it was Cuomo. But he's long gone. They got rid of him in the pandemic.
Cuomo was the governor of New York State. Yes.
Right.
Then,
yeah, the mayors are the first point of contact, and what did they have? It's called the council. Each district has a council person.
And the assembly people.
The thing is, it's to a point now where there's going to have to be a mass approaching.
Exactly.
The story you're telling me about the homeless in New York, I hear it every day. It's really, really getting bad. And so not only that, you have families being displaced right now. Whole families. And it's the majority of our people and perhaps the Hispanics. But even here in Baltimore, when you go into the city area and you start to see the poverty, it's mainly the Black men. They be like huddled together, all of them, and they're just giving up. But they can't solve the problem on their own. We have to come together and go to these different political stations.
Yeah.
You have to.
We have to.
You just fight like and you get out. But our rights are being violated, and no one seems to care for their own rights. I'm literally have experienced people not wanting to stand up for their rights.
Exactly.
And but not really understanding that.
You know what, my niece? Sometimes I have learned that that one person who's going to stand up, sometimes you got to stand up by one person. Alone, and write that letter, send that email, contact every judge at that housing court.
I get a lot from you. I'm sorry to interrupt, Auntie, but I get a lot from you. I am a fighter just like that.
Right.
I'm a fighter of my rights. Like, it's in my blood. Like, I don't feel right unless I defend myself.
Exactly.
I know my rights. I'll go all the way to the edge. You want to go to Supreme Court? Let's go. I've actually been there. Our children was exposed to lead in New York State, and we were under Section 8, and they approved the building knowing that it was lead. So I was young, but I knew that was a lawsuit. So I filed a $10 million lawsuit for all three of my children. We settled, outside. We settled outside, but that was also a federal lawsuit that I really should have went for, suing Section 8, because they should have never approved that building. Voucher from them, and it's all fraudulent. The building owners get paid off. The inspectors inspect, they approve the building knowing that it's not right. But if your tenant, I was a smart tenant. I said, this is lead with this radiator. I said, I said, I'm taking my kids to get checked. And sure enough, all three of them had high levels.
That's a shame.
But,
and it happens.
I caught on to it early, so it never affected them we was able to get them treatment to the doctors and whatever have you. But
Right.
I was young and I knew my rights. And because
Exactly.
of it, all three of them had trust funds. It was
Definitely.
just the sons at that time, my two sons and my sister's son.
Mm-hmm.
I was the one. And we went all the way to Supreme Court, and I literally saw how they were trying to cheat us and make our situation not such a big deal. Until I said, I will call the news.
Right.
I tell people, call the news when they're telling you about your rights and, disrespecting your rights or not adhering to the laws. Call the news. Don't be afraid. But a lot of people it's their self they don't want to put out there. But it's not them. They're exposing them. You see what I'm saying?
And do you know how many children suffer behind lead? That's like, you know how they're doing now.
In Baltimore, I really noticed it when I first got here. So I was
In,
able to know what
right.
places
In
to
New
move
York
into
City
and what
too.
not to. I look
There
at
has
the
been,
pipes and all that.
right. In New York City, Johnny Cochran firm have won cases for people who children were poisoned, lead poisoning.
Right.
And those children are still getting paid today. They get a monthly allotment.
Yep, because they got brain damage and effect from it.
Some of them have learning disabilities
Mm-hmm.
and all kinds of problems. So we have to start studying, start researching.
We have to get into politics, basically.
Yes, we have to go to those community board meetings. We have to go, every hospital has a board.
Mm.
You're invited publicly. You could go sit in on those board meetings.
Every town has a town hall meeting. I used to attend them when I was in Kingston, and it's not too far from where I live, the town place. But yeah, well, I've been a notary for 23 years, so I'm very aware of business law, all types of laws, and we are people that do not, we don't defend our rights, and that's a fact.
My first job out of NYU, I did an intern first at Community Board 3 in the South Bronx. The district manager at the time was Mr. Dana Driscoll. He's now deceased, but he was my mentor. I came in as a student intern, okay? Then they hired me for the summer position. Then they hired me full-time, and I learned so much. Some of the now council people in the South Bronx came there. They couldn't even speak English. I used to help them write letters. And now they are council people, okay? They are state senators and everything. They couldn't even write a letter in English. I would sit down and they would speak to me in Spanish. And I knew a little Spanish. I knew a lot of Spanish, actually. And I will then translate it in English and write letters for them. They also had a green thumb program there where, they used to call it Operation Green Thumb, where people could get community gardens. So people start planting their own food and everything.
Even on
Jimmy
rooftops
Carter,
and things,
when he was the president, he came over to Kelly Street in the South Bronx. And then they start developing housing there, because at one point, the Bronx was all burned down because the landlords were burning their houses down to get the insurance money, and then they would run the money, okay?
businesses
Now,
too.
you know, the Bronx is beautiful. All those houses was rebuilt. And one thing, the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans up there, they stuck together and they looked out for their people when they got into politics.
And they took care of their areas.
And they took care of their areas.
You see?
They planted their own food, everything. They got their little bodegas, loan each other money. And our people, believe it or not, we were the ones
that started that Seuss.
Everybody piggyback off of the Black struggle.
And we are, yes.
And that's
we are not doing it though. Now we are not doing it.
Say we're not doing it because we did it and we continue to do it. But now a lot of young men and women are tired because they shoot you down in the street and everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I still feel that we're the leading force.
Yeah, we are.
One time, I went into Brooklyn one day years ago. This was in the 90s, the early 90s. I went into a store on Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn, and they call it the halal area, mostly Arabs and people from Iran and different places, Muslims. So now they built a little community over there. They got their own Whole Food stores, Medinas, all kinds of stores, right? Restaurants, everything. So I went in one store because I needed a white scarf. I needed some material. When I walked in there, they said, "Oh, are you one of Malcolm X's daughters?" And they all came and hugged me. They said, "Oh, we admire Black Americans, the struggle that you fought for. The whole world's looking at us because we set the trend." And they were hugging me. They were so happy. They thought I was Malcolm X's daughter. I said, "No, I'm not Malcolm X's daughter." I said, "No, I'm not." But they said, "We admire you because you're Black Americans. You fought so hard to get freedom and to get bills passed." And they said the whole world has been looking at you, especially our country. And we admire you, the woman. They said, "We have a voice because you had a voice. We started speaking up behind your struggle." Okay? So we got to realize what's in our hand, as Adam Clayton Powell used to say. We have so much going for us because our ancestors set it up for us. Mm-hmm. Okay? All we have to do is study. We can't doubt ourselves, and we can't let anyone else doubt us. All right? Yeah, I don't even want to say what they say about us. Yeah, they stereotype us really badly. But we exist in the system, but we are not of this system. We did not create this bull.
And most of the laws are made, they do not have us in mind. I just like to have people, I just want to explain the term American is, the Constitution and all of those things, as you can see, do not favor our people. They actually have a lot of blockages and stumbling blocks for us. And, shackles came off, but they went here and they went in the systems, and everywhere we go, there's a problem. There's a blockage. You can't do this and you can't do that. You try to get a business, you can't get no money. But when you're an immigrant, you can come here and get your first time loan and all this other stuff. And that's why we don't have the businesses in our communities. We can barely get loans.
And that's done deliberately to hold our people
Every
back.
avenue is to hold our people back.
You know why? Because
but people have to realize that.
Right.
You got a lot of Black people that like, "Oh no, this, that, and the other." I like that is really when you're teaching, it really
you cannot be content with the condition that you are in.
Right.
Okay? Because when you have more liquor stores in your community and you can't find fresh fruit stores, something is wrong. It's done by design. They want to keep you drunk and high because they know that we are a rebellious people. We came out of slavery. Our people fought them. Our people had Tulsa, Oklahoma. We had Black Wall Street. They know our potential.
Now,
that's why they try to hold us back. They bombed these places. Bombed it. Okay? And got rid of us. And don't think that people who are living in NYCHA housing, paying some of $250 a month, don't be comfortable with that and think that everything is okay. No.
A lot of people in that building were living without gas and everything.
Right there in NYCHA housing anytime and get rid of us, okay? And now the faces that you see in NYCHA housing are a lot of Orientals, Dominicans, and less of us, okay? And white people as well, okay? So, because people are suffering economically, don't think that you have it made, because you don't. There are all kinds of schemes out there to get rid of us, all right?
Yeah. When I was
And
there, that building had a big emergency, and they had no, because the people were living with no gas and whatnot, or heat. They were burning their stoves, and somebody's apartment caught on
that
fire.
in I mean,
It was in
Ohio,
Niger. It was in Niger housing in
it wasn't
Brooklyn.
Ohio, I think.
No, it was in Niger housing in Brooklyn.
Oh, it was in Brooklyn. Okay.
Yeah, this was a while ago. Last year. Last
Okay.
winter. Yeah.
And on the Lower East Side, they didn't even have water one time. You know, my granddaughter just walked in
Yeah, they
Ohio.
can get cut off. They cut off water to those areas because that's how that works. It's
Because
manual. They can go underground and cut off water to a certain area.
and the electric and the gas.
Mm.
So our people, let's start fighting and demanding what we want, because everybody else is.
So
Okay.
let me ask you
And they
this
all
question.
pick back off of us, our
Yeah,
struggle.
absolutely. Let me ask you this question for our audience. For our audience that's just coming into wokeness, so to speak, why do you think they want us out? Why? Why are they doing all of these things to push us wherever we're going to go? Because we're not leaving America. This is our land. And a lot of us realize that, and we're just going through the motions. But what is the ultimate plan? Like, why do they want to keep us below them in every area of life? And then they're so intimidated when we are successful. Our success is even more intimidating to them. Our intelligence, I've actually seen them turn red in the face when you're just in their presence. You haven't even said anything, which I see as fear. But what is the reason that you think there is a stumbling block, obstacle, systematic setup, traps for us?
Why?
Yeah.
Because we live in a system, a capitalistic system, and let's just say they are our oppressors. They took us into slavery, okay, through the transatlantic slave trade. They seen us rise up out of slavery. They seen that our people were warriors and warriors, and they knew everything they tried to do to us. We survived despite it all. They just can't understand what's in these people, what's in their DNA that they fight us. And we kill them. We kill them through germ fear, through the water. We literally beat them, you know, and they insist that we still are somebody. Anything that they try to do to us, we come out of it. Psychologically, they're like, what else can we do to kill these people off? So now they pit other people against us, which they're doing now with the immigrants coming in, like throwing that in our face.
Them so much and we get nothing.
Right, and we don't get anything, but still, in spite of all of that, we survive. Okay, because the people who are coming here are copying our tactics of fighting, and they know that if they claim asylum, they have to get legal representation, which we started. Okay, so everybody's again piggybacking off of us. We have to understand the power that we have as a people, as a group, and we have to put our demands in writing. Hell no. You know what disappointed me so much with the Lives Matter group?
Oh yeah. They're claiming
All they came up with a sign in the street that Black Lives Matter painted in the street. Where were their demands?
right.
That's all you wanted was a sign painted in the streets in America.
That was a setup, and it wasn't
Right.
meant to. None of
Who was behind
black
it?
people received
Look at the
anything.
person,
But the people
look at
that
the person who was behind it. The
George
whole who was
Soros.
yes.
George
Say
Soros.
his name. Say his name again.
George Soros.
George Soros, a billionaire.
Mhm.
Okay. You had gay woman. Okay. And this is Pride Week. Okay. Pride Month, which was originally June, was Black Music Month.
Wow.
Okay. And that's being overpowered by Pride Month. It's all by design. Okay. Why you got to put the two in the same month? And I'm not saying anything against anyone who's gay. However, it's Black Music Month.
And we
Okay.
want it that way.
The jazz, the spirituals, the hip hop, 50th anniversary of the hip hop, everything. That's all our music.
Yes.
Okay. Now
Which
that's
they love and feed off of. And could you imagine the world without our music? Oh my goodness.
Imagine the world without our dancing. Imagine the world without our poetry. Imagine the world without our athletes, Serena and Venus. It's the French. Now you have the French tennis challenge over there. Okay, the French championships.
Through the years, I saw the racial struggle that they went through when they were whipping ass in those countries. Incredible. And those girls did not give a darn. They just kept on going on, which is how you got to do it. We have the examples, but the thing is, when you're down and out, you have nothing, just life isn't, people just be down on their luck. And they're not even thinking about fighting with these agencies and whatnot.
Right.
You're thinking about the next meal or the next rent payment, but
the next mortgage payment.
That too.
We healed the world. You see, now we got to heal ourselves. Okay. We have to put our demands back on the table. We want better schooling. In fact, we want our own schools. We have the right to homeschool. We can't only be the doctors. Like, I love that Black doctors organization. They're getting themselves together. The Black lawyers have to come together. The Black social workers have to come together. Out some,
because they definitely doing the work of the devil a lot of times. That doggone social work and social child CPS
agency taking children away.
Working under those, I don't see how they do it in their heart, and they know, oh man, that system is off the chain. It's more abuse happening than help.
Than anything. So the thing is, a lot of our children are in foster care. A lot of our children are not reading. What is this? All of a sudden, all autistic children.
Yes.
So it's a lot of mental illness in our communities, and we have to heal. We know what to do. We know the herbs. We know what to do. We know how to pray. We have the Black churches are not doing their jobs like they used to.
Not only that, they have to come to the conclusion that what they're asking and what they're saying is not being listened to either, because the condition keeps getting worse. And after a while, that people have conditioned themselves to wait on the Lord. But how long is he going to take when you need to get this stuff together? Can't you see he works?
Didn't God say God would help those who help themselves?
Exactly.
Okay, so the Bible, these Bibles and these ministers who are trying not to do anything, because some of them are hired to preach to our people
And
and
keep
hold them back, to keep them back,
Mhm.
keep them from fighting and everything. No, what happened to the church in action in the church, where they had community outreach, where Black people could come in and say, these are the problems in our community, minister. What are you going to do? How can you help us? We paying our tithes every week and everything. How could you help us, minister? We need daycare. We need after school programs. We need a place for our children to go after school.
And the church can get the money from the government. That is the thing.
Exactly.
But
we need housing. We need housing. Let's be clear. We need housing.
There is a church and a liquor store mostly every corner in our community. And the church is looking very not effective in the community. I mean, it just is what it is. As a matter of fact, the church can stop the liquor stores from coming on that block.
Exactly. They could stop a lot of things.
Yeah.
But we have to put some fire under these ministers too, to say, please help us out. We need help.
Not because of the doctrine.
If they come for me at night, they're going to come for you in the morning.
Right. Not so much because of their doctrine, but because what the law has given them rights to do. Find out your rights to do and do it. I'm actually talking to myself right now. I'm an ordained minister. I got a lot in the works, but the thing is, do it. The church has no walls. I'm an ordained minister. I don't need a church to do the work.
Exactly. To do the work
to get done. And for the people to listen. You see?
So like minds have to come together. Like minds have to come together, organize, put a program together, an agenda together, and strategize and make it happen.
But we have a hard time making commitment. Yeah, we don't have a hard time we have a hard time being disciplined for commitments.
Right.
Start out, we do it a couple of times, and then we fall off. I understand we got families and stuff like that. But you must understand, you're making the world better for your children, because if we don't do it, they're going to get it triple time.
It's a saying that we say in the community. If it's to be, then it's up to we.
Yeah.
Okay? It's Shakespearean, but if it's to be, then it's up to we.
It is up to we. That's facts.
We all that we got.
Yes. And we can't keep waiting on someone to come and save us. We got to be, keep it 100. No one is coming to save you.
Exactly.
You have
Nobody's going to drop out the sky and save you.
Not if he's not on a UFO. If he comes, he will be in a UFO, okay?
I ain't getting on
no way he's just going to float down here.
If it don't look like me, I'm not getting on that shit. I'm going to run. Okay? In fact, I'll have me set up some type of underground tunnel where I could go through.
Funny you're talking about that, because that is what they're doing. They opened the
My son just said to me, go ahead. My son just said to me, go ahead, Harriet Tubman. My son say to me too. And you know what I say to them? Thank you very much.
Yes, I feel it too. I really do. Absolutely. You never know. We might have some relation down the line somewhere, because I'm certain freedom.
Right. For me, Sister
certain the Underground Railroad.
My students used to call me also Sister Soldier.
Me
right?
too. I got called that too.
I said wonderful, because I love her spirit.
Yes.
You can call me anything you want. They said, take that, get a perm, Miss Austin Newton. Stop wearing your hair natural like that. And I said to them, it's okay.
Who said that? The school people?
No, these were my students. And some of my colleagues too used to joke about it. But I said, it's okay. I am who I am. All right.
Exactly.
And I'm going to come as I am. Some of them will give me
too. A lot of us don't want to accept who we are.
A lot of the Europeans gave me compliments.
They give us compliments. Our own people say, get a perm, but they don't understand. The psychology behind that. You really trying to make your hair like theirs at the end of the day.
And now, guess what? They have class action lawsuits
Relax.
because a lot of those
I could do
perms
a whole show on relax.
cause cancer.
Yeah.
And now you have to, people die not even knowing that they got cancer from the lie and stuff that was in these relaxers, trying to look like Europeans. And now they have cancer. Some of them have died. Now they have lawsuits out.
Fibroids.
Lawsuits.
Yeah, it's causing fibroids too. And some of them dyes, some of them color dyes, they got it in there too. And it's not just the lie. They have all these other unfathomable names of chemicals that are in these products as well. If you look at the average perm, there's over 25, 30 chemicals in it.
Exactly.
No idea what the hell it is unless you research it all.
Even some of the hair that's so some of the hair also could cause inflammation of the skin, and also cause of the scalp, and also cause
alopecia
and brain damage. Let's go back to making our own products, making our own food, planting our own food.
In Africa, they make their own wigs. I don't think they might be getting them from China now, but in Africa, they've been adding hair to their hair since time began. And where were they getting it? How are they making it? Where do they get the hair from in Africa to braid?
They make it themselves.
Wow. I have to do some research and videos. Like, how do they make hair? That's a good question.
Yeah, they get natural products to make hair.
Wow.
And there's even natural products to grow hair.
Of course.
See, our people were scientists. They were very scientists. Mathematicians.
That's right. We are the first computers. Black women was computing that astrological math for their little space programs.
Exactly. So
that is incredible, though. That is freaking incredible.
If you doubt yourself as an African born in America, if you doubt yourself, just go within yourself and start. You have the YouTube. You have Google it. Google it. Don't believe me. Don't believe a set. Google it for yourself and find out about the traditional African way of life. And you would want to love yourself after you do all that research.
Absolutely.
Because our people were awesome.
Super.
Built houses out of mud and hay and whatever. The cloth itself, kente cloth, study how it's made, what it's made from.
Off the land. We know how to live off the land. That's why they don't want us to have any. That is the ultimate thing, is for us to not have any collective land in this country. That's what they try to do. They get the land or keep you from it.
Remember Tulsa, Oklahoma. Remember that.
Mm-hmm.
It was also places in Ohio and Texas they bombed as well that had thriving communities. You had the Black bankers. You had the Black shoemakers.
The clothes makers. Oh, my goodness. The tail.
Oh, my God.
All of us. We were the land keepers. We were the growers. Everything. We did not need, we could supply. We could grow plentiful produce. We did not need, they help really.
Right.
So we also have this question of, how do you feel like, okay, because we know we come from a family that has indigenous blood.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us have gotten our DNA and show more levels than others. But there's actually another conversation there, because something is not right with what they're telling African Americans about our DNA, because they're busted. They're busted. When you know who you are and you look at these results, come on now, something's up. We have a lot more indigenous American blood traits than they let on. And for some reason, I just feel there's just something pulling at me. It's just something that tells me that those aren't the correct numbers. Now, there's a question. I'm leading into a lot of us here in America, Black people, say that they are not African. They are the real Indians or the real tribes. And we know that that existed in our families. I know it existed on both sides, mom and dad. But still, the argument would come down to, I know what your mom and dad told you you was, but you should look at your DNA. I know the landmass. Yes, you might have been born there, grandmama, great grand, and go ahead on. But you must think that even they tell the white people they got a speck of their genealogy came out of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
The mother give life to all. So my thing is, there's a great separation because those of us that are born and raised here, we're indigenous. You see, my grandmother was born here, and as far as I know, her mother was born here. Or maybe not, but we were all born here. And the law says when you're born here, you're a natural citizen. And so my question to you, Auntie, is, Queen Auntie, what is your take on that? Because we know in our DNA there's African from Africa in it.
Right.
But we also know we're indigenous to this land here.
Exactly.
We can't just go to Africa and claim land. But here we should be able to. And it's written that we didn't receive what we were supposed to have.
And you know what? If you're indigenous to this country, like the Indians, okay, there's certain rights that they have with land, with reservations and stuff. And them to deny it in your DNA, connecting it, that means you're not going to have those same rights. But I see a lot of Europeans, okay,
Claiming Indian.
how the hell they getting Indian indigenous blood?
Through race mixing, you know, a lot of them do. But even that's watered down because they aren't the original Indians.
Exactly. They're not. And not only that, that means that then they're going to have access to all that land. And also, do you know the fact that if you have Indian blood in you, you don't have to pay for college
and taxes, yeah.
And taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Certain things you're privy to that no one else is privy to because their people fought for those rights.
Mm-hmm.
And I was right by them. We fought for those rights as well. So when the DNA comes back, not showing that Indian indigenous blood, but the Europeans are showing it, you know something is wrong. Someone done maniggled with that DNA results.
Yeah, had to.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Had to.
Mm-hmm.
It in us. The high bones.
That's right.
The texture, the color, everything. So someone is lying.
Cheekbones. You know, it's definitely in my grandmother, and I see it in my mother's grandparents also.
Exactly.
On both sides of the family. And we know the tribe. You know what I'm saying?
So someone is lying and manipulating with the results. Someone is lying. Okay? Because
that's a diabolical lie too.
Exactly. And we have to find out more about that because we have a right to this land.
What we need.
We have a right to this land as foundational Black Americans because we built America. Okay. So our ancestors were here. They built America. It's all documented. And we are the foundational Black Americans, descendants of slaves. And we have a right to this land. And we have a right to the reparations.
Yeah.
Okay. Bills.
We don't fight for it though. We're gonna have to fight for it.
There's a bill that Councilman Charles Barron just presented, as well as a senator, okay, on reparations in New York City. Okay, California already have bills out on reparations. Texas also have bills out on reparations. as well as other states. So we got to get on board with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, we have to present. If we know information, then each one has to teach one.
Right.
We have to get little small, like we're doing now, little small groups. We got to go around and be consistent. Maybe we're going to meet on, have our forum on Wednesday,
Right.
you know, or Thursday. We can't change. We got to be consistent so
Right.
people
Right.
expect it.
Yes.
And that small, out of that small group, we have to present the information.
And participate, you know, between the both of us, we know a good number of people.
Right.
And they need to be participating because you want to reap the benefits from things like this, because we don't speak out. These podcasts, these different shows and different things, don't think it's just TV. Don't think it's all for naught.
I want to say,
We are reaching the masses.
Right. I think one of my friends is trying to contact me, Joyce Jacobs. If you were trying to get in touch with us on YouTube, we're back and we're live now. So just go to the information that I
shared it on Facebook also.
Right. So people, if you're out there listening, just go to that information. We're on live now. We had much technical difficulties today. And the brother that was supposed to be presenting today, unfortunately, we couldn't get together because of technical difficulties, okay? But we are trying for Sunday again, or probably next Wednesday. But if you're listening, please go back to the information on the
Let me let you take this question from the chat. We have Paul. Hello, gentlemen. I'm not sure what type of person this is. It says, hello, gents. Who is they? First of all, as you can see, we're females, Paul. If you can't see that, you need to clean your eyes. And second of all, they. Auntie, I'm going to let you explain who they is.
Okay.
They, who are we speaking about?
You know what? This is gender exchange. I am Queen Nzinga, and you are? Who are you?
I'm Offset Amin Ra, but he's speaking about the conversations that when we say they, the oppressor, them, we know they set up systems.
When I say they, I'm talking about the Europeans, the Portuguese, the Spaniards who went to Africa and participated in the transatlantic slave trade, and who are now the oppressors of our people. I'm speaking of Europeans who are still in power, who are oppressing African Americans and just about everybody, okay? I'm talking about the families who still have the power in America economically, and who are oppressing our people through racism, through, what's the word I want to use? It begins with an S, a set.
Sorry, I was working
white supremacy. That's what I'm talking about. White supremacists.
Which is an illusion. The fact that we don't stand up for our rights and confront everything they push our way. And that's the thing. People get tired after a while, you know, because it's such a set up rat trap type of situation, you know, and you got the little gerbil on the wheel and he goes from the wheel onto the swinging thing, and then he goes to the swinging thing to the other little circle and he comes back to the wheel. So it's a cycle that has been intricately set up, and let's face it, a lot of our people help set up these government systems as well. And so, yeah, because we were a lot of brains behind it too. You know, a job is a job. So a lot of us help set up these systems, not the brain work behind it, but the manpower behind it. And so when we say they is the man.
The white
could
supremacists.
understand that.
I'm going to make it clear. The white supremacists
Right,
and
exactly.
white men, okay,
Yes,
who
yes.
oppress
And they're mainly
everybody and
old white men
everything for the sake of the almighty dollar,
to
okay?
keep them and their families and their people, their race on top.
And they have a code amongst themselves. When, Karens are no mistake. When
Not a
you see
mistake.
Karen supermarket, or you living in a predominantly white neighborhood and you have a cookout and Karen knocks on your door and say, "Oh, y'all got to turn down the noise before I call the police," or "You have no right to barbecue on Sunday." Okay, Karens are around for a reason
I hope I don't run into
to
it.
disrupt. And I hope I have run into many Karens, and I have to hold my tongue and I have to hold myself back. But if they call me the N word, it's on, baby. Karen, I have to correct you. And there are male Karens as well, okay?
Now, let's chop it up real quick about this incident that happened where the young black woman was shot through the door
That's a shame.
with
And from
the
4 children.
iPad situation. That was, it's getting out of hand. Where, what the heck? The woman obviously has mental health issues. And she also has, persuasion issues. You know what I'm saying?
And she thought that her white privilege was going to get her
That's the right
over.
thing to do, even for herself. She really believes she'll probably get off. She had to have thought about that.
Because of her white privilege.
Exactly.
She thought that she was
That's an
going to
illusion.
stand the ground under the stand the ground rule, that she could shoot in somebody's door. She killed the mother.
Through
She
the
could have
door.
killed the whole family.
She had the little 9-month-old baby with her.
Yes.
Children saw her die. Now, imagine their mental situation for life.
How
Oh,
they traumatized.
they definitely are not going to like or trust any kind of white people. So,
Anybody, period. Because they're traumatized. They did have to go run around to neighbors to try to get help for their mother so that she could live. But they knew she was really dead, but they just had to run around, and I'm happy that they did, to inform the neighborhood. Please come help my mother. My mother has been shot by this woman. She shot through the door. And they were running around frantically telling people, and thank God that they did, because that brought attention to the case. And the attorney, Crump, got involved, the civil rights attorney. And pressure was put on the community, the white officers in charge, to charge this woman with murder.
I know. You see how long it took for her to get arrested? Now, we know things don't work like that for us.
Exactly.
See, that is a problem. Like,
that's why people get tired.
The thing is, they're tired because they know. They're tired because they know it's going to have to be a mass approaching. You see what I'm saying?
If those children didn't run around, if the children didn't run around to tell the other neighbors what went down, and then their family members, of course, had to come pick them up, and somebody said, "This is not right." Her mother said, the grandmother said, "This is not right. I got to do something." She then called and reached out to Attorney Crump. And thank God she was able to call him, because he said, there have to be charges, first of all. This woman can't walk around.
How she stay alive in the neighborhood for all of them days? Until she got arrested. See, I don't think black people are mad enough. I wouldn't have been able to be contained at that point if I were a family member.
Exactly.
And I'm just wondering, where does all the meekness come from? Where does all the, because you know you have nobody defending your rights except for you, but where does your love of self come from? Because you have to, it's just weird. It's just like George Zimmerman. He was
Yes.
just allowed to do whatever he does.
Under the stand the ground, Florida has a stand the ground.
Even when
law.
he left Florida, I mean, I'm just saying,
Still got in trouble and was carrying a gun. Why did he have the right to even continue to carry the gun after being arrested several times?
and it was legal for people to support such a person with monetary gains because they
Exactly.
support him for years through his GoFundMe account, knowing his lifestyle and whatever.
That's why you could get a Trump in office. That's why the president of America could commit treason, commit all types of sexual crimes, and he still is able to run for president.
He's still able to fall. I mean, the one that is president, he's still able to keep falling and falling and falling and can't even keep his balance, but he's supposed to balance the country. Like, what did he figure out that
Really?
to give up the job? He needs to be replaced. Like, when they gonna figure out that he ain't fit?
He's not fit.
Or what is he gonna do? He don't need to fall again.
But
up the stairs, down the stairs, to the left, right.
At least he's still trying to pass a bill with
Yeah,
all the costs.
not for his
Not for us. What happened?
own personal portfolio. We know Biden doesn't like black people at all.
Right. Whatever happened to that bill against police brutality after the George Floyd case? That bill was supposed to be put into executive order legislatively so that the world could know that there wouldn't police brutality will not be tolerated. Shooting men will not.
Who's supposed to sign it? Biden? How many times is he going to say? Yeah,
that's one demand that we need to
came out of his do. He would pay for reparations, like it's coming out of his pocket. He has no intention on that.
But you know what?
Black people put him in office. I didn't vote for him. Let's let that be known.
Right. We have to show Biden and the rest of these politicians that they're going to put some respect on foundational Black American
That's
name.
right. That's
We're
right.
going to put respect on our name.
Now, what do you think
our brothers? I have 4 sons. How many sons do you have?
I have 2 and grandsons.
And grandsons. So we have to be cognizant of the fact that they are under target.
Yeah.
This is not going to be tolerated. And young Black men, whatever you have to do, do. Don't
have to show that it will not be tolerated.
You better get down in your little groups and organize. Because they have to.
This is what will be a good idea. You better know your rights. Y'all need to get in groups and start learning your rights, your police rights, what they can do, what they can't do, this and that. Start from the ground level, and that would be it. Start to know your rights. Know your rights where you live at. Know your rights by your landlord. Know your rights, on the road. Know your rights when you leave your house. Know your rights if someone enters your house, unlawfully. There's so many laws. This is a country built on laws. So you just can't go through life and not run into the law. So you might as well know your rights. I mean, as I'm speaking about this, I really feel like one day a week I'm going to dedicate to studying these rights and just talking about the rights, or do a did you know? We're going to do a did you know? Because I have a book. I have my rights. And if I didn't have a book, I could find my rights. So we need to start teaching about basic rights, tenant laws, different things like that. We can do put out a flyer, charge a small fee that people can afford, because the more people we can support it. So we're going to start setting up some Zoom things, and hopefully people want to learn, because I've experienced people not even wanting to learn.
But you know what? They're not going to have any choice, because
Yeah, true.
you better learn something. Now, I was on Facebook earlier today, and they were talking about, people were celebrating the fact that Trump was indicted on federal laws. Okay, that
Don't
doesn't
they
mean
see that
anything yet,
they're railroading him as if he were a black man? You know,
right? But
because
guess
he
what?
was the only one that actually, listen, he had reparations talks way further than they are now. They actually went back further. He was actually meeting with pastors, preachers, community leaders, and this and that to try to come up. He actually had a plan, and it even included this prison situation. You see,
But I want to say
that's
something.
why, that's one of the main reasons why they want to destroy him, because he understands the spiritual karma on America, and he actually wanted, because he's a businessman. Why be at war when you could get money? What the freak is wrong with y'all? Like, their idea of him is different. They talk about, oh, he's prejudiced, this and that. Who ain't freaking racist? Stop the fucking bullshit. That's what gets me to cussing sometime, because we're all there. You don't like this race, they don't like this race, that don't like. Nobody likes each other at a certain point in time. He was just bold enough to say it, but that don't mean he is not capable of making policies that work in solving freaking issues, obviously.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I have no faith in Trump. If they put him in jail, that will be good, but he might have to do some time. That's what a lot of lawyers are saying. However, I would like to see it, because his lawyers always get him out of something. But the point that I want to make, on the Facebook, they said, oh, a convicted president could then run for president again, but someone said felons cannot vote for a president. And I had to correct the individual, because they didn't know that felons could now vote, because Obama, for his second term, he passed a bill that felons could vote. Okay. And I was out there peddling those leaflets, letting people know, if they were convicted of a crime, that you could vote. If you were convicted as a felon, you have the right to vote now. And a lot of people don't know that.
Mm-hmm. That's
certain states, now certain states, they say if you murdered someone, like in Ohio, in certain states, Iowa, if you murdered someone, if you raped someone, then you have to go in front of a board to ask for the right to vote for a president. Okay. But you could vote for other groups of people, like council people, assembly people, etc. But New York State, if you are a convicted felon, you have a right to vote for president. You have a right to vote for city council, assembly, any governor, every office. You have a right to vote as a felon, because it was made an executive order under Obama. Okay. So understand that you have the right to vote now. A lot of people don't know that, but you have the right to vote.
Yes. Really and truly, I don't have any faith in any of them.
Me neither.
Truth is truth, and accomplishment is accomplishment. And what's the word I'm looking for? You know, the wanting to do the task. The person that makes the move. You see what I'm saying? They all talked about it, because Obama's ass was talking. He could have done a lot more than what he's done. Yep. He's the actual one that started this LGBT on their first leg. And my first question was, how the hell he get in office and do something for them and ain't address black people?
You know why?
That's why we put him in there, and he knows that. I don't like Obama,
because they put it in writing. You know why? Because the gay people put their demands in writing. They wanted same-sex marriage. They put it in writing. They said
He
Obama,
walks around in the skin. He's
is lobbying.
aware of the issues he's aware of the issues before he even became president when it comes to
Exactly.
black people in
Exactly.
America.
So the thing is, our black people again, we used to put stuff in writing. We set up bills. We helped Frederick Douglass. He put stuff in writing. He demanded, okay? The slaves wrote, and the free slaves wrote those amendments for slaves to not be in shackles again. They wrote it, not Lincoln. They wrote it and they gave it to him. It said, you're going to pass it. They demanded what they wanted. And we have to, again, demand what we want. And we have to put it in writing. We have to put it in a bill. Remember Adam Clayton Powell Jr.? All of the congressional bills that he passed? Because the people that he was representing in Harlem, they wanted those jobs as bus drivers. They wanted the jobs in transit. And he got the jobs for them because he was a lawyer. He put it in writing. He made legislations. People made demands. And that's what we have to do again. We have to be specific and make the laws up.
Let me ask you this. What is the first step in creating a legislation? How do we do that?
Number one is to research. Okay, we need housing, number one, right? Again. Let's start with the number one simple thing right now. They always try to get rid of the voting laws. Now you just know that the Supreme Court yesterday it was Alabama, Alabama. Supreme Court voted that the governors of Alabama, the state of Alabama, must pass the voting bill again because a lot of people, they don't want to vote, but we got to vote.
It's unconstitutional to deny
laws, number one. So a lot of places was redistricted. So now they say, no, the governor of Alabama, you prevented a lot of Black people from voting because you changed the zoning laws. Okay? You spread out, like you made it so that the white people could vote in certain areas, but you gave the Black people hell. You wanted to see their ID, everything. So now they have to go back and correct that. And they have to give Black people the opportunity to vote in Alabama again.
So are you seriously saying that there was a law for forbidding Black people from voting in Alabama? Is that how that went?
Yes.
That's what's going on right now in the South with all these voting things?
Yes.
And Black people.
And in Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, everywhere, they're trying to prevent Black people from voting because they're saying, they don't have the proper ID. They don't have this. They don't have that. So when they go to the polling places, they don't get their voting card and they can't vote. Okay? Or you don't live in this neighborhood and we redistrict this neighborhood. So now you can't vote. And they found that the governor in the state of Alabama was truly in violation
of the Constitution.
And prevented Black people from voting. So they overruled it. And now Black people have the right to vote out there. It's only a quarter population of Black people in Alabama. And the rest are Europeans. The same with Georgia, the state of Georgia.
It's incredible. It's incredible how far behind in education a lot of our people are in these areas.
Right.
But they too have these. I think they got these in Alabama. I'm pretty sure that the people are.
The smartphone.
All the information is in here, but
exactly
don't know how to use it too good. If you're not computer savvy or know how to listen, It's 2000.
If you paid $1,000 for a smartphone and you have an Apple smartphone, I'm letting everybody know that Apple stores, they offer classes, okay? You go to those classes and learn how to use your phone. Each phone has a table of contents. Go to the table of contents and learn how to use your phone, because everything is in the smartphone. It teaches you
Everything.
how to actually use it. Okay.
Right.
But
So
if you
he
still
said,
cannot, if you still
what's
cannot conceive it,
the,
you know what? If you have grandchildren or if you have younger children, they know how to do it.
my
Go to
granddaughter
them.
called me while we was on live earlier.
Exactly. They know how these
On
young,
FaceTime. She ain't even 2 years old yet.
I'm telling you. So, you
Wanted
know,
to
they know
change.
how to use it. If you have grandchildren, go to them. But if you can't, just go to the Apple store and they have classes on how to use the phone. Okay? And do
Not
that.
only
And learn
that,
how to use the phone.
people have had versions of the iPhone, different ones, and still don't know how to use it. This is a computer. You can
Right.
write letters on here. You can do all kind of office work. You can get paid through your phone. And y'all know what y'all want to know, because you know about Cash App and all of that stuff. Learn about the education that's inside the phone. Okay. Hey Siri, what's the first step in creating a legislation?
Here's what I found.
Read something from that she found.
The legislative process, how laws are made.
Adoy, it's right there in your phone. People, my people, I love you. And go to your phone. My niece just asked that question, and it's all in
Real
your
time.
phone. How to make a bill.
In real time.
And
You
so when we
anything.
come back, we're going to have some information on it.
Yeah, we're going to start talking to people about knowing their rights specifically, because it's too much. We have so many things to catch, the majority of our people up on. How to do certain things on a computer. Simple little things that help you take care of your business or communicate or whatever. Y'all guys, we're in 2023. We're in the land of AI right now. Y'all about to get with the basics. And I'm talking to the age group of 50 and up also. Y'all are not exempt.
Exactly.
Y'all do not get a pass. You're going to get misled, taken advantage of, and a whole lot of things. Because really once you know the basics, you good. You know how to search on the internet. You know how to make a call. You know how to text. You know how to transfer money. You know how to download an app. Basic little things, and you could keep it moving. You will learn. But y'all gonna have to know this is not gonna work. No, we're gonna have to bring our education up, and we're gonna have to want to read, pick up books, take the time. You are not gonna master a subject by a TikTok video. You're gonna have to read. You're gonna have to sit and learn how to pay attention to somebody else teaching while you're taking notes and different things. It's as if y'all don't know the school system, how it worked. And to
It's
be
critical.
serious, a lot of us never even went to school.
It's what you call critical thinking.
Yes.
Okay? Learn how to read and decipher information that's going to help you out. Okay? And for anyone who goes to church and you're saying, oh, but that's ungodly. No, it's not. God wants you to help yourself. God wants you to live a better life. God wants you to have housing, clean air. You just see what we went through. He wants you to have clean air, housing, clothes on your back, food, nourishment.
They say God helps those who help themselves.
Exactly.
So if you're not helping yourself, how much is God helping you? That's if you believe in what it says. You can't believe one part and not the other part, because God also curses. God also gets tired of people. Let's keep it 100. Time after time, you have the time, and the time is now. This is because the older people, when we do productive things for the community and ourselves, it's really for us, and it's for the younger generation. So you say you love them. Oh, I love my grandchild. I love and I'm this and I'm that. But if you're not making them aware of their surroundings, the world they live in, first the home they live in, the community they live in, the schools and different things, they understand that process. And so you have to help them develop it, help yourself develop so you can help them develop. When they come home and say, oh, I need help with this homework, and you have no idea what it is, what happens then? You know what I'm saying? If you test yourself, if you have a fifth grader and below, you should be able to help them with any kind of question they come with from the school. You see, I've done tutoring. I am a tutor. I know it. I know there's a lot of parents that can't help their children with work that's like not even fifth grade. And this is not an embarrassing thing, but you got to have the motivation to learn. You see, it's a personal thing. If you don't want liberation and freedom for yourself, then it's pretty much a wrap for you. But everyone else is not going to fall in that. You see, they say one apple spoils the bunch, but I differ. If the other apples get used or get out that basket, if they get taken out the basket, they don't get to rot with the other apples. You see? But if that apple stays in the bunch and never moves towards progression, it rots with the rest of them. You know?
Exactly. It's getting late right now, so
Yes.
I think you should just sum up like you just did. That was an excellent point, my niece. Excellent analogy and comparison. So
Thank
next
you.
week back.
Yeah, we're gonna keep coming back, and anytime I think about something, I'm gonna hop on and say what I gotta say, because words are vibrations and frequency, and once they hit the air, there's no stopping them. So there's no stopping
In the
us.
universe.
There's no stopping us, but we have to direct those words, write some of them words, and submit that paperwork. Submit what you say. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do
Let's
it.
put it in writing.
Yes,
Let's
let's
do
start
it.
putting things in writing. That's a very good start, you know.
And
And
then we learned tonight that felons have a right to vote.
yeah,
And depending on what you have to study the rights of your state, because every state has different laws for felons, but you do have the right to vote for
yeah,
president, for
right.
Congress,
Yeah.
for assembly people, for council people, and any other type of votes. You now have the right.
Take advantage of your vote, because most of you that have the right, you still say I don't vote. I was a victim of that, but I had to sit down and evaluate myself. You see, and when it comes down to it, when you let somebody else vote for somebody, you're the one that gets trapped under that law. You don't want to have to go by that law. So what? You didn't vote for it. You better not break it. So you might as well have a hand in creating it.
Exactly.
Let's go. Let's go. All right,
Our future
family,
depends on us. Our future depends on us.
on us.
So let's keep ourselves healthy. Let's keep ourselves in our bodies as pure as we can. Let's eat food from the ground that's grown from the ground.
Mhm.
Let's get our immune systems up because, as you can see, there was a great smoking fog over New York and most of the northern states. And people wound up in the hospital choking, and some people probably even died,
On
but
top of this respiratory virus that's going around,
right,
that's ramping up pretty bad too. So you're gonna be careful of the germs. Start washing your hands and all that again.
right.
'Cause,
When you come
yeah,
inside, wash your face, wash your hands,
wipe your nose, nostrils out, clean
right.
out.
Brush your teeth, Listerine up or
Mhm.
whatever mouthwash you have. Make sure you gargle to keep your throat clear. Wash your hair. Get these germs off of you. Okay, lather up
And
and get germs off of you. Change your
yes,
when you come outside from outside. Change your clothes
take
and put
off your
on.
shoes. Yeah, get them shoes off. Don't track them germs all through unless
Right.
you're have wooden floors and you like mopping constantly. But that's pretty much up to you. Um, I was going to say one more thing that I wanted the people to be aware of. What was it? Um, wow, I lost that thought that time. Oh yeah, look out and be careful about this new respiratory thing. I think I mentioned that. But yeah, it's pretty bad when it gets into you. It takes a couple of days to incubate, but yeah,
If
just
you don't have to go outside, don't go outside.
yeah.
This actually started last Saturday before the politicians realized what was going on and then they closed the schools and everything. But it went inside my system so badly yesterday. The level, the air quality level on Wednesday was like 350 something.
The carbon monoxide, yeah.
You could actually see
Dioxide.
red outside, and if you had white walls, that red was reflecting inside. Okay, that's how thick it was. And
Mm,
I have asthma, so but it didn't get me because soon as it got in my system, I had a throbbing headache,
mm,
and I had to immediately hydrate myself. I kept washing my face, lathering up. You know, I came home early, and then the train started acting up too.
mm.
So I immediately grabbed me some ginger. I had a ginger drink with moringa in it, and it had cloves and seed in it as well. I had already had that in my house that I brought last Saturday.
Mhm,
So I shook that sucker up and I drunk it. It
mhm,
is strong. And
mhm.
I drunk it, and it immediately made me feel better. I then made me some peppermint tea with lemon in it and honey. I drank that. I drank 2 or 3 bottles of water because I knew I had to get whatever was in me or trying to take over my
Yeah.
system. I had to flush it out of my system.
Mhm.
And you know what I said to it?
Get
I,
out.
I said, "You get out of here.
Yeah, you
You ain't
gotta
coming
speak.
here."
We
And
gonna talk about that too because that is so powerful. That is
yes,
powerful. We are powerful.
you
Yeah.
speak. You speak what you want.
Speak
You
life
speak
to yourself.
what
Yeah.
you claim. Okay. My
Mhm.
mother always told me, and God bless her soul, and my father always told me, don't claim it. Don't claim it. It's the first rule. If it's going around, don't claim it.
Mhm.
Okay. You got to pray it out of you, but don't claim it. Anything.
Right.
Don't claim
Right.
it. Don't claim
Right.
diseases. If the doctor say you have something, okay, find a way to get rid of it.
Mhm.
And you better find a way yourself to get rid of it too.
Mhm.
Because
That's
the
true.
doctors need their money. But thank God I have some good doctors. I called the office. The receptionist didn't like the way I sounded. She said, okay, I'm going to tell the nurse first. The nurse called me back in less than 20 minutes, okay, and
Mhm.
told me what to do. And she said, I already alerted the doctor. The doctor called me. They get off at 5. He called me at 5:15
Mm.
and told me what to do immediately. You
Yeah.
know, immediately, because he said, I don't want you outside, but if you got to go to the emergency room, you got to go.
Yeah.
Just go, but wrap yourself up, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
your nose and everything, wear a mask. I could even cover my hair too.
Shoot, that's with me. I have a sheet on up out there covered up.
It was hot outside, but
nobody touch me. I don't want to sit on nothing. Don't touch nothing. I am so germaphobe. But yes, everyone, just take the care for yourself and your children. You know, show them about the hand washing and everything, and we just have to do what we have to do. It is what it is. You know?
The young babies, even, they know about washing their hands and counting to 30 now, you know,
yes.
the COVID and stuff. They know what to do. Even the little babies know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to cover your hair up and cover yourself with a mask. Mm-hmm. Cover your neck up. Anything that's exposed, cover it up.
Yes.
Because it will enter your body. So just cover yourself up for a little while.
Right. And the thing is, we'll keep going through this until they actually get the fires out. You know, it even takes a few days after that.
Right.
Stop burning to go ahead and clear.
Sunday, it might come back again.
Right. Once the wind shift changes, you know. So everyone stay safe, stay blessed, stay aware, and keep on fighting that wicked beast. You got to know your rights and you have to perform them. You see, that's what they're there for. And on that note, we'll be back sometime this week with a wonderful topic. Stay tuned. But this is another Tonya 23 experience. Thank you, Mother Nzinga, for being committed. That's what's up. Being steadfast. When you say you're going to do something, you do it. And that's so great. I commend you. So until the next time, Auntie.
Me too.
Auntie Queen, I will see you soon. I talk
and me too.
Yes. Ashe to the family, to everyone that participated in the chat and for your questions and everything. And thank you. Until the next time, peace.
Ashe, yo. Madasme, yo. Yay!